Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a magnetic excursion update Monday, September 30th, around 9 p.m. Mountain Time 2024. A significant M7.6 solar flare blasting off the sun just a few hours ago. Looks like there could be a CME headed our way. Keep calm. It's boom time. The big story, the devastating flooding in western North Carolina. Supplies are now arriving by plane and by mule in North Carolina as Helene's death toll tops 130. Widespread devastation left behind by Hurricane Helene came to light Monday across the South. Well, I doubt that. We've been reporting on it for 2 straight days. I do digress. Revealing a wasteland of splintered houses, crushed cargo containers, and mud-covered highways in one of the worst storms in U.S. history, with a death toll topping 130. A crisis was unfolding in western North Carolina where residents stranded by washed-out roads and by lack of power and cellular service lined up for fresh water and a chance to message loved ones days after the storm that they were alive. Now, the good news is that hundreds of Starlink units have arrived in North Carolina, not thanks to Elon Musk, not thanks to the U.S. government. Joe Biden had nothing to do with it, nor Kamala Harris, but YouTubers like Michael Sorter and Ryan Hall, as well as Benny Johnson, stepping up to the plate and helping the victims of this catastrophe. Not the government, YouTubers. Remember that. At least 133 deaths in 6 southeastern states have been attributed to the storm that inflicted damage from Florida's Gulf Coast to the Appalachian Mountains in Virginia. And it's YouTubers that are bringing in food, water, diapers, supplies, and Starlink units. Let that sink in. The toll steadily rose as emergency workers reached areas isolated by collapsed roads, failing infrastructure, and widespread flooding. During a briefing Monday, White House Homeland Security Advisor Liz Sherwood Randall, who did nothing to help these people, by the way, suggested as many as 600 hadn't been accounted for as of Monday afternoon, saying some of those might be dead. Well, she wouldn't know. She's not there. She hasn't brought any water, food, or supplies like YouTubers have. Can you believe this? This is the world we live in. You better be prepared. The government is not coming to help. President Joe Biden did say he will travel to North Carolina Wednesday to meet with officials and take an aerial tour of Asheville. Well, at that point, people will be starving. Hurricane Helene's devastation could cost up to $34 billion, according to Moody's, and many of these properties will not be covered by insurance, and many insurance companies will leave the region, and it will be impossible to get insurance. This is the world that is rapidly collapsing around you. Millennials and Gen Z, you better vote in November for Donald Trump. This is what the power outage map looked like earlier today. There were still over 2 million without power. Let's refresh this live on air. All right, the numbers are looking much better. 1.5 million without power. And take a look at Georgia, 478,000 without power. North Carolina, 387,000 without power. And South Carolina, the hardest hit and not even in the news, almost, wow, look at that, 650,000 still without power. We've got some more tropical weather to talk about, but we'll get to that in just a second. First, the winter 2024-2025 snowfall predictions are coming in, and more snow is now forecast over the western U.S. and Canada in the latest model runs. Let's take a look. We are predicted to be in a La Nina for the entire winter and then move over to ENSO neutral for most of the spring and summer. So that is the forecast. But what does it look like for the U.S.? Typically, La Nina patterns have a wetter northeast, a colder and wetter western Canada, and a drier southwest, and that's exactly what the temperature anomaly is showing. A warm Four Corners region, a frigid British Columbia and the Pacific Northwest, as well as the northern high plains, and warm in the east. And this is December through February with La Nina. Here is the average snowfall patterns for a weak La Nina, which we are entering. So we're going to be seeing most of the snow in the northern half of the U.S., including the Northeast, Eastern Canada, the Northern Plains, and the Pacific Northwest, as well as heavy snow in British Columbia and most of Alaska. And these are the European models, which we won't get into. I'll show them for fun. It's going to be epic snow for Scandinavia, apparently, and Iceland, as well as Greenland. So we should be seeing some epic numbers from Greenland this year. And I think some of the biggest ice gains ever recorded will happen this year. Mark my words and hold me to it. Here's the full forecast. Fire weather concerns for the plains, extreme heat for the southwest, and heavy rainfall for the mid-Atlantic. Strong winds, low humidity, and dry fuels may allow for a rapid spread of fires across portions of the central and northern plains. Today, for the southwest into lower elevations of California, extreme heat will persist the next several days, where new daily records are expected. For portions of the mid-Atlantic, pockets of heavy rain are expected today with isolated incidents of flooding, as the remnants of Helene are still affecting the east. A quick look at the Hurricane Center. We've got Tropical Depression Joyce, which is going to hook around into the Atlantic and do absolutely nothing. That's good news. Tropical Storm Kirk is looking to hook the same as a major hurricane. This is the furthest eastern formation of a major hurricane in the tropics ever. So we'll see if that develops into a major hurricane. And if it does, it will be record-breaking, but no threat for the U.S. Disturbance number 2, we have less information about that. And this tropical disturbance is not going to be a repeat of Helene. In fact, there's no evidence of it, which is good news. Let's take a walk through the GFS model that we have. This is the current run. 18Z just came out, and you can see the tropics down there in the Gulf. We're going to get some rain, but not much all the way through the next 2 weeks. We could be seeing a hurricane develop and move up through Baja here and slam into Mexico on October 10th. That is very high probability, but there is no high probability of any repeat effects on the U.S., and there's no hurricanes hitting us as hurricane season rapidly drops off through the beginning of November. Nothing coming to the U.S. Could be one of the weakest hurricane seasons ever recorded in the U.S. after they said it was going to be a banger. Well, they always miss the apples, don't they? Take a look at this. An unusually strong atmospheric river could be amongst the most intense seen in 23 years. It is longer and wider than the U.S. There it is right there. And it smashed into Western Canada, Alaska, and a few bits of it hit the Pacific Northwest over the last few days. Canada and parts of the U.S. were hit with some of the most serious rainfall earlier in September, and now we might know why. It's suspected to have been the result of one of the most intense atmospheric rivers seen in the Northeast Pacific since 2000. How do you like them apples? Atmospheric rivers are often described as rivers in the sky, as you can see here. They are narrow, flowing columns of condensed water vapor up in the atmosphere that can stretch for over 2,000 kilometers. That's 1,200 miles. When they reach land, in fact, and that water vapor cools down and is dumped below in the form of rain and snow. Ho, ho, ho. And there you can see the most recent and the biggest in 24 years. All the links will be below. NASA's Lesotho snow images. There is snow in South Africa. Very rare event. And an unusual late spring snowstorm blanketed Lesotho and parts of South Africa last week, driven by a rare low-pressure system from the Southern Ocean, taking a path not commonly seen in past snowfall patterns. Things are changing, folks, and a severe snowstorm dumped several feet of snow in the Drakensberg Mountains of Lesotho. Holy mackerel. Shut up, Al. Get in your hole. Al Gore says I'm lying. That's why he's in his hole and no bun cake for him tonight. Seismic update. No quakes of note. We do have some interesting rumblers on the Kamchatka continuing here. Could be Karamsky, yes, or perhaps any other of the Kamchatka volcanoes getting a little jiggy. Overall, there's like 12 earthquakes above 2 magnitude on Earth. Crazy. Worldwide volcano news, we've got White Island. The eruptive activity has decreased, but gas and ash emissions continue to fluctuate, and I don't want to be anywhere near that island. I prefer my flesh on the bone. Sabancaya puffing and passing, Swanosima on the list, 7,000-foot blast, Samaru, who knew, now you do, on the list, Fuego to 15. Karimsky, there it is. Rumbling today, Santo Huito, 15,000-foot puff, Ibu to 8,000. Chivaluche on the list, Nevada de Ruiz, 23,000-foot blast. Manam still puffing and passing to 13,000. Bezamayani, a new name to the list, potentially a puff today. Swanosima, 8,000-foot blast. Karimsky issued the following report. Volcanic ash is not identifiable. So why are they reporting on it? Fuego also has possible ash emissions today with Semaru. Who knew? Now you do. Nevada de Ruiz, Santa Guito on the list. And that is wrapping up worldwide volcano news as we move into October. A season for pleasing and Halloween. Here you can see that massive blast that just happened a few hours ago. Finally, a noteworthy solar flare to report on, an M7.6 flare blasting off from active region 3842 just moments ago. We don't have any of the models in yet, but telemetry is showing us that potentially there is a CME associated with it. In fact, it would be Earth-directed. So, wait for tomorrow's show to get the full model and the full extent of what we are waiting for. It looks quite impressive here on the imagery. In fact, this is, what is this? This is the A1A. We don't even know. All right, how fast will the annular solar eclipse on October 2nd travel? Well, did you even know there's an annular solar eclipse on October 2nd? I bet you didn't. We did mention it on the show about 8 weeks ago. We're going to follow it up now. It's just under 48 hours out. And on October 2nd, an annular solar eclipse will be visible from the southern hemisphere. During this event, the moon doesn't completely cover the sun from our perspective on Earth, so it leaves an amazing ring of fire around the moon. A ring of fire moon boom, and as it rapidly approaches Tierra del Fuego in South America, that's where you want to be. Yeah, get down to Patagonia in just a few days, and you will be dazzled at 2036 UTC as that annular eclipse passes your region. Let's see if we can open this up and play it again. So on the October 2nd, 2024, 1600 UT, you can see the annular eclipse moving through the Pacific here, 17 UT. Well, you get the picture. The only place you're going to see it is on the southern tip of South America. So if you live there, good news for you. If you're a climber in Patagonia, make sure to look up. And if you're a billionaire, well, just fly down there or drive down in your yacht. Should be spectacular. I don't plan on going. What are your thoughts? Leave a comment below. Take a look. A new study coming out. Geologists discover mysterious subduction zone beneath the Pacific, reshaping the understanding of Earth's interior. It's called, the paper called Mesozoic Intra-Ocean Subduction, Shaping the Lower Mantle Beneath the East Pacific Rise. We'll leave you links below of the entire paper. How do you like them apples? And we will be discussing this at length Saturday on our radio show, as it relates to the expanding Earth hypothesis. I believe this is more breakthrough information, and I've also uncovered some more breakthrough information with the Deccan traps. So, buckle up, Buttercup. Saturday's radio show is going to be a big one. Now, how did birds survive while dinosaurs went extinct? Well, it's simple. It's only the non-toothed birds that made it. Yeah, After the asteroid struck Earth long ago, forming the Chicxulub crater, all birds with teeth went extinct, but many of the toothless ones kept living. Some scientists think not having teeth is what allowed these birds to survive, because after such devastation on Earth, there was very little left. And the toothed birds could only eat live things, animals. And it's the one without teeth that could eat anything that lived. Fossils of early toothless birds show they were able to eat more plant-based foods, specifically nuts, fruits, and seeds. This meant they relied less on eating other animals than birds with teeth did. And after 85% of all animals, land animals, are gone, there's not much to eat. Some scientists think the difference in diet became a big advantage after the asteroid impact, and thank God, because that's why we have chickens. Wait a minute, that was a turkey. The world's oldest cheese has just been found, and it was slathered all over the chins and faces of mummies. Yeah, it's completely creepy. 3,600-year-old Chinese mummies were apparently, their faces were slathered in cheese. The Bronze Age coffin was found during the excavation of the Jianghu Cemetery in 2003, and spectral analysis, or whatever they did, has uncovered that when the 3,600-year-old coffin of a young woman was unearthed 2 decades ago, a puzzling substance draped around her neck like jewelry was cheese. I hope it was Parmesan, because I love that stuff. Now, if you didn't know, the Teamsters just went on strike, and tomorrow morning it's going to be the longshoremen. Yeah, so the Teamsters build everything, and the longshoremen ship everything. Without longshoremen, there will be zero products making it to market, which means if the longshoremen strike lasts for over a few weeks, well, there'll be nothing in the stores. Nothing. And, well, just listen to the union president telling the government and the powers that be that they can suck it. And he is going to cripple the world.
But today's world is changing into the future. They're not making millions no more. They're making billions. And they're spending it fast as they make it. I want a piece of that for my men, because when they made their most money was during COVID. When my men had to go to work on those piers every single day, when everybody stayed home and went to work. Not my men. They died out there with the virus. We all got sick with the virus. We kept them going. From Canada to Maine to Texas, Great Lakes, Puerto Rico, now the Bahamas, everybody went to work during COVID. Nobody stayed home. Well, I want to be compensated for that. I'm not asking for the world. They know what I want. They know what I want. And if they don't, well, then I have to go into the street and we have to fight for what we rightfully deserve. These people today don't know what a strike is.
Right.
When my men hit the streets, from Maine to Texas, every single port will lock down. You know what's gonna happen? I'll tell you. First week, be all over the news every night, boom, boom. Second week, guys who sell cars can't sell cars because the cars ain't coming in off the ships. They get laid off. Third week, malls start closing down. They can't get the goods from China. They can't sell clothes. They can't do this. Everything in the United States comes on a ship. They go out of business. Construction workers get laid off because the materials aren't coming in. The steel's not coming in. The lumber's not coming in. They lose their job. Everybody's hating the longshoremen now because now they realize how important our jobs are. Now I have the president screaming at me, I'm putting a Taft-Hartley on you. Go ahead. Taft-Hartley means I have to go back to work for 90 days. That's a cooling off period. Do you think when I go back for 90 days, those men are going to go to work on that pier? It's going to cost the companies money to pay their salaries while they're went from 30 moves an hour maybe to 8. They're gonna be like this. Who's gonna win here in the long run? You're better off sitting down and let's get a contract and let's move on with this world. And in today's world, I'll cripple you. I will cripple you, and you have no idea what that means. Nobody does.
Well, you heard it here first. People are sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I'm going to back these longshoremen until they get what they want, as well as the Teamsters. I'm fully prepared and supplied, and I hope you are. And if you aren't, there's still time. Tonight, you can get ready to escape food packages at extreme discounts. It's the last few hours of Preparedness Month at My Patriot Supply. Support the channel, support your preparedness. Get a go bag, a bug out ballistic panel, and 60 bug out essentials for just $170. You can get MREs, the ultimate cooking, lighting, and emergency power kit on sale. An Alexa Pure water filter on sale. The ultimate solar power and cooking emergency kit on sale. Get your own food. Get preparedness food that will last for decades. And we might need it in just a few months or even weeks based on what we saw. And we also have our affiliate, the Jace Case, where you can get emergency medications that may save your life. Get a month's supply of any medication you're taking currently. Get a year's supply of life-saving emergency medications like antibiotics, ivermectin, and the like. And you can customize your Jace Case to what you need. If you're diabetic, get the stuff you need. If you're a cancer patient, get the stuff you need, and on and on. You can customize your case for your preparedness and your survival. And here's the fun thing. The pharmaceutical industrial complex don't want you to know this. The expiration date on your medicine is a lie. They just want you to get more. Medications can often last 10 to 30 years past the date if kept in a cool, dark place, and lose very little of the efficacy. That's the key. Storing your medications properly, as well as your seeds, well, and your food, especially if it's long-term food storage. Go get it. Prepare yourself from what is coming. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video. We are shadow banned. The powers that be know we're telling the truth, and they don't want us to save a single person, but we want to save you. We love you. Be safe. And that is a boom.